Hey friends, we're going to get started in just a moment, about a minute 45. Let me know if everything's sounding good, looking good in the chat today. Would love to know where you're joining from, and jump into some Q&A here in just a little bit. It's going to be a good day. I couldn't have timed that music any better. Don't you just love that when it works out perfectly? Hey, welcome to another Friday live stream. It's been a minute. You know, our last one last month, well, a few weeks ago, I don't remember when we were going to do it. It got postponed, and here we are. I don't have a special guest for you today. I've got some lined up in the months to come, some gurus of the church tech world that will be coming on to review your church's live streams. But today, unfortunately, you're stuck with me. So, but you know, it is my YouTube channel. So if you're here, you must not hate me. So welcome back. If you want to get your church's live stream reviewed, there is a link in the description. And you can go ahead and submit that. I think I've got like 20 in there maybe or so. But you know, there is always the fastpass that is available for purchase. It's like $10, I think, is what I ask for you to super chat. But that's not necessary. I'm going to be doing that for reviews for a couple of hours here today. And since it's just me, I would really love to jump in and like have some Q&A time with you guys, hear what you're thinking about what's going on in the church tech world. So cool to see everybody jumping on. We got Brian from Bigsby down the road here, and then all the way over to Matthew in London. So from the 918 to whatever the area code is there for Matthew across the pond. Hey, I'm glad that you guys are jumping on the Friday live stream. So like I said, let's drop some questions, maybe some things for us to ponder, things that would be cool to talk about. I love talking shop on cameras, lighting, audio, anything interesting that you've seen that you're just like, hey, what do you think about that new thing that's come out or ran across this thing? I've got 6 or 7 little items that we can chat about here in a little bit, maybe between live streams, just some different church tech things that have been set up or that have come out and are interesting to me. You know, how can we utilize technology to make much of Jesus? That's what it's really all about. And actually, I just thought of one that I ran across on Instagram that I'm going to put on my list before I forget about it. You guys do that? You have like tons of lists. What's your favorite list app? What do you do for to-do things? I use a app called, I don't even know what it's called. It is Todoist? Yeah. And we've used that a long time. But, you know, Todoist. I use that with our tech director, and that way we can sync our stuff together, and I can assign things to his list, and then he can check them off, and we can schedule things. And I just like it. I know there's lots of good ones out there. Looks like Josh says uses Asana. Larry, I'm going to tag that question to come back to later. That's good stuff. I mean, the Apple, Remind stuff is good, but for like Teams, some people like Slack. So we have Asana. We don't really use it like that. I think Google maybe has a new thing that's integrated into the Google Workspace that I thought about checking out. So, Kathy, that's a good question. I will come back to that as well. Hey, let's talk about what my setup is here today. I've changed things up just a tiny. Let's see if you can see on the wide shot here. So this camera that you're looking at is a trusty old GH5 with the Sigma 18-35, and I think it's got the Viltrox speed booster on it. This is the camera that we use for our roaming stage camera, and we've actually been using a really cheap Canon EF. I think it's like a 55-250 or something, or 45-250, and it's a higher f-stop, like f5.6, but with the speed booster, it brings it down a little bit, and it's been fun. It's been different, little tighter shots, and it's still really lightweight for our guys, and it works pretty well. Like, I've not had any complaints with it. ISO not having to go above 800. So for us, it's been working good. If you need a really budget, cheap lens that's tele for that kind of thing, on a GH5 with a speed booster, it actually performs okay. So that's GH5. And then my tight shot, I've actually changed up to use my new S5 Mark II from Panasonic. And it has the 85 EF 1.8 from Canon on it, with a Sigma MC21, I think, is the adapter. And the autofocus seems to work pretty well. I had to move it to the box autofocus, because if I didn't, it was trying to detect my hands if I bring them up like this. If it's like anything that's close, but unless I come up, it's not going to focus on that. So yeah, it seems to be working pretty good with the EF glass. So I don't have any L mount lenses yet. I would love to get some L mount lenses and really be able to test this thing, but for now, like, lenses are expensive. So let me just glance here at the chat. Awesome. Hey, do me a favor. It always seems like it takes 10 or 15 minutes for people to find this live stream once it goes live. If you will just go ahead and hit the like button. You're here, you're early. You're early to class, so you must want to be here. Hit the like button, and remember, you can't chat unless you're actually subscribed to the channel. So hit that subscribe button. Always putting out great, helpful content for the church tech community. Hopefully you find it helpful. That's why I make it. And then my little countdown cam over here. Do you like my little miniature Jesus figurine? I guess this is like all the rage. People are hiding these in different places. There's one that found its way to my office, and so I just thought it would be fun to have Jesus start off our live stream this morning. So, hi. And that's a GH4 with a 25mm 1.7 lens, and it has decently close focusing ability, and yeah, works good, right? For that kind of shot, pretty fun. So, how are you guys doing today? Man, it's been a busy season, but it's been awesome. All kinds of great things going on. School kicked off for my kiddos yesterday. I have 3 kids. Let's see. It's hard to believe my oldest is in high school. He's in 9th grade now, which is just like, how did that happen? When I moved to this church, he was barely starting to walk. So I've been sitting in this office for 14 years and, starting to get a little gray hair there from it. But it's crazy how time flies. So he's got his permit. He's getting ready to be driving, which is a little scary, but I'm excited for him. And then my middle daughter is in 8th grade. And then I've got one more still in elementary. She's in 5th grade. And so day 2 of school for us today. That's why I'm able to hop on and do the live stream with you guys and take some time to dive back into this. So that's the family stuff that's been happening. And then obviously, if you follow me, if you're an email subscriber, then you may have heard or seen that I launched my first course, which I'm super excited to have out there and available for you guys. If you're somebody who wants to scour every single video of my channel, you could probably glean most of the things that I go through on the course. Let me just show it to you really quickly. Let's see if I can hop over here. Yeah, it's called Next Level Live Streaming on a Budget. And just a little promo video there kind of walking you through the why. It's on sale until Tuesday of next week for $50 off. Right now, $74.99. But just for you guys, I am going to give you a little special for today only. You can get $15 off of the course if at checkout, if you want to go and purchase this today, you use the coupon code. What is it? I can't see my... oh, you can't see it either, right? Hold on. I got to edit that. Just a second. The coupon code is Livestream 15. How did that not get pasted over? Let's see if that does it. Let's see if that does it. Yeah, there you go. So at checkout, that will get you $15 more off of the course. What all's in the course though? Well, it's 18 different modules to help you level up your church's live stream. And so, you know, I've got all things covering audio, video, lighting, pre-service, post-service. You can see some before and afters here of our live stream from a few years back to what it has become nowadays. And yeah, you got about 3 more days or so. But this is just my strategy for how we've grown our church's live stream. We are not a mega church. If you guys aren't familiar with our church, like we run about 450 people on a Sunday. And I've had to gradually grow our broadcast. And I'm super happy and proud of it now. Not that we can't always be improving. I'll probably change stuff next week. Actually, I've already got some ideas of things we've been talking about doing. Not camera stuff, live stream things to really enhance and move our church online from being like spectators to participants. That's the goal for me. That's why I want to do the best that we can do with our church's live stream. Let me hop back over here to our socials. Look at this. We got people from Canada, Europe, all of this. That's awesome. Very cool. And then other things that I've been up to, if you guys have not seen, man, in the last month, I've tried to put out as much helpful content as I could on my channel. So yesterday I released this video about the Hollyland wireless tallies. And I got to tell you, like, I've been very impressed with them. They're not super cheap. Let's see if I can. Because you had to have some live streaming. Go to see how much they are now. So yeah, they're $650 for a 4-light set. But go check out that review if you haven't yet. They sent me some, and I've been really impressed with them. And honestly, like, our camera ops have gotten so much better because of having tally. I know there's other like cheap ways to do tally. If you follow my buddy Josh over at Church Budget Live Streaming, live stream. Yeah, he's got $5 DIY tally lights that you could make, maybe like out of Arduino boards or something like that. I just, like, I don't have time in my life to build this system. And also, some of those, like his is pretty cool. It takes some soldering. It takes some definite like know-how how to get into it. But for me, I was just like, I think I'll just use the pre-built system, and they work really well. So I've been very happy with them. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. And then I launched an encoder kind of breakdown, 16 minutes, where I talk about 7 different encoders that either I've used or I've talked to a lot of people that use them. Things like Resi I've never actually used, but I've attended their webinar, and I've talked to a multitude of people who use them. Boxcast, ATEMs, OBS, like, what's the best way to go about encoding our live stream? Like, this live stream you're seeing right now is literally just, I just hit the on-air button of my ATEM Mini Extreme. It is sending out at, let's see, 6 megabits per second. I say make sure it's megabits, not megabytes. I don't want to confuse you. It's bits. And then that's just going straight to YouTube. And then YouTube is, I hit the on air button on YouTube as well, or go live or whatever it is. So that's kind of how I'm doing that. But there's a full breakdown there. And I've got like 3 or 4 encoders that are being sent to me now that I'm really interested in. Like, could they even be another better option? I may have to make an updated video, you know. So, okay. Yeah, getting some good comments in here, guys. I'm pinning these to come back to. Charles would like to hear more about my live stream plans. Okay. Yeah. Dustin says, Resi's been rock solid for us the past 4 years. Oh, thank you. New lighting in the backdrop. It's just a couple of cheap OPPSK LED pars we had sitting in the closet that I'm not using. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll just throw them on there, you know, do the YouTube thing, make it look a little more vibey. So I do like my gobo up here too. That's thrown there on the background. That's always fun. But thank you for noticing. You know, it's the little things that it's fun when people notice. You know that as a tech person, right? Like you put all this work and effort into it. Sometimes it feels like they only notice if you mess something up, which is okay. Like that's good. We want to not be the center of attention, but sometimes it is nice when, like the other day, somebody on our live stream for the church commented and they're like, the haze levels are on point today. I was like, thank you. Yes, we work hard on like making sure that is pretty good, you know, from learning the room to timing out DMX builds and, you know, when it's going to cut off in certain songs and how hot it is that day, or are the AC fans running? And so, yeah, it's fun to be when the little things get noticed. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, I'll talk to you about some of my things that I'm thinking about with our live stream, with that idea of moving people from spectators to participants. I'm wondering if one of the ways I can do that is incorporating something similar to what we're doing here as I bring in, you know, your comments onto the screen and off the screen. And so I've been talking with our tech director about, like, is there a way to do that where it's not distracting, but it ups engagement from people? So I think 43% of our live stream viewers every week are actually watching from a television through YouTube. And so the chat interaction on YouTube is like nothing because people are watching it on their TVs and they never see any of the moderator chat. So what I've been doing, I can pull it up here and show you guys real quick, is I've been giving our hosts, I've been giving our host a script here. And just to give you ideas here, we have somebody that does teleprompter for our pastor. And so during everything before this, they are putting in these prompts at the right time. So, hey, Central, it's Stephanie here. 1 minute until church. Where's everyone worshiping from this morning? What if that comment got put up on the screen, you know, like these comments do, so the people watching on YouTube saw that as well? And then we encourage them to jump into the chat on their phone from YouTube as well, because we can aggregate those comments. Restream does it automatically, but there's not a great way to put them on the screen from Restream, unless you're streaming in the encoding section of Restream. But there is another plugin called Stream Ninja. Social Stream. .ninja. And this is a Chrome extension or a standalone app now that you can actually aggregate those comments and then do what I'm doing here where I put a comment up on the screen. And so, you know, we would love to maybe take these prompts and have those for sure come on the screen. But then if somebody says like, praise the Lord, or asks for prayer or something that would be applicable for everyone to see, could we then put those comments up on the stream as well? Maybe we utilize our super source to like animate the live stream video up to a box and then the comments come underneath. Or maybe we wouldn't even have to do that because we have black bars on top and bottom of our worship time. So this script changes every week. I just go in and update it accordingly. And then I have some tips for them, like try to avoid using language like watching or tuning in. We want people to participate, not just watch us do church. And then if anyone leaves an odd chat message like a serious prayer request, please notify your nearest staff member, because these are volunteers that are manning this chat. And so like last week we had someone with a serious prayer request. And so she went and grabbed our connections director, and then we're able to get back with that person and actually pray for them. So that's something we're doing and trying to be intentional about. You may already be doing this as well, but could we maybe take it to the next level, how I'm trying to do it here with you guys? So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that crazy? Is that, would that just be super distracting? It may. I wonder if part of it is like we work so hard to make our live stream look pretty, and the shot composition is so good and the colors, and we're working so hard on it that's like to throw like social comments on top of it seems weird. You would probably also want a clean recording of a clean feed minus that social chat, just for archival sake, or maybe you go back and you upload that, but I don't really want to do that because that's just more work. So yeah, can you remind us how you put up the comments for this live stream? So I use a program called H2R Graphics, and basically H2R Graphics, let's see, can I drag it over here? So H2R Graphics is an app that you load up. It is run in a browser essentially. And so I'm connecting to that same control rundown here on my iPad to control the comments over this IP address, which maybe I don't know if that's unsafe for me to show you that or not. I'm not an IT guy. And then you link in your chat. Unfortunately, it can only do YouTube or HTTP listeners, so it would listen to a different thing like that social stream, but it works good for YouTube. And then you can load in different things here that pop on and off. So there's the social chat, and then here if I go to the social tab, it shows all of my pinned comments that I've pinned here, and this one is auto scrolling. So Charles says, I feel like social overlays would be weird, but totally do it pre and post service. Yeah, definitely. And that might be like a good entry point to at least like introducing it to the online audience. I like that, Charles. So this looks weird on my screen because I have it really small, but over on my iPad, it looks correct. So yeah, H2R Graphics, then whenever you click this output, it can do a key fill where it does two separate ones. So if you're running like, two inputs into your switcher, you could do one as key, one as fill. I have it set to do it as a Luma key, as a downstream keyer on the ATEM. So it's going just one USB-C to HDMI into my ATEM Mini Extreme, and then the downstream keyer is just always on, and I'm controlling that with H2R Graphics. So Social Stream can do the same thing. It doesn't look nearly as pretty. It's more like open source looking, if that makes sense. But if that's something you're kind of interested in doing, you could do that. As I said, like Restream and a couple of others already have that built in, but you have to be encoding it through their like producer online thing to be able to put the comments on top of your video. At least that's my understanding. I may need to go back and check that. If any of you have ever done that, that might be interesting. But we haven't been using Restream because our bandwidth on Sunday mornings has been really, really bad. And so, and I'm going to drag those off while I'm talking to you. So we've actually switched to Boxcast, and it has been rock solid for us since we got the, what's their new box called, y'all? There's so many different names. Not the Pearl. What is it called? You know, the new. Oh, It's going to drive me crazy if I don't look it up here. The Spark. Yeah. So the Spark has been rock solid for us. I really like the workflow with it. And we're streaming at like 8,000 kilobytes per second. Or kilobits. I don't know. Bits, bytes, whatever. You know what I'm saying. People like they get all over me in the comments if I say stuff like that. I'm not an expert, guys. I'm just a YouTuber, okay? Just trying to share what I've found along the way. But yeah, so we've been using Boxcast and it's been rock solid. I don't even remember how I got to that. So we're not going through Restream anymore. That's what I was talking to y'all about. Charles says, I've considered having the online host do announcements separately for the stream as well instead of streaming the announcements from the stage, more targeted towards the online audience. But then that makes timing a lot more complicated. Yeah, so we have the ability to do separate video announcements just for the live stream audience. So I will do a pre-stream, chat host like a lot of people do out in the lobby with our wireless video stuff and a wireless mic that's just going to online. And I will do some of that that's targeted for online, and that works great. And then through ProPresenter, we sometimes will launch 2 separate videos at the same time for in-house, that's specific announcements versus online. But you're right, they do need to be timed like the same, basically. So that way when you come back to in the room, it matches. But it can be done. All right, let's look at a few of these comments. Larry says, has anyone tried Harrison Live Trax software? Alan and Heath announced. Is that the Trax Live basically kind of thing where it's just a scaled back recorder? Let's look. Harrison Live Trax. Live Trax. I've not heard of this. Has anybody? $15. Capture multi-track live performances with confidence. Yeah, so I believe Churchfront is using this. I thought I saw it in the Cowboy Church video that they were having them use Live Trax. There used to be the one by, was it Waves or somebody that had the free one that was like this, that was very just scaled back. It wasn't a DAW really. It was just to capture the multi-track audio. I don't know if that's their address or not. It is. Videos. Do they have it?
It's really designed for recording live audio and playing back live audio. So you've got all of your armed tracks, you've got your kind of tape machine style record and play. And then one of the benefits here is that you can actually send your tracks multi-out back to the board, but you can also convert the whole thing to a stereo out and kind of assess your mix after.
Now, when Luke said that, it made me wonder, assess your mix in stereo. If it's recording mono sends and how is it actually a stereo mixed image? I don't see any panning knobs. Maybe that is preset, but I don't know that would help that much. The old one had that as well.
After you're done recording your tracks, you could convert this over to the stereo out and kind of hear what that balanced mix would sound like, maybe in a nice set of headphones, to give you some real feedback on what your mix sounds like as a whole, rather than isolated multiple out tracks. So really, really impressed with how easy this Livestream software is. There is a license fee of $14.99 at the time of this recording, but it's a one-time purchase price, and I think well worth it for the ease of use and setup. And then the rumor is, in the future, it will have auto sync for naming of your channels from the Allen Heath line of consoles. Already does this on some of the more flagship.
Yeah, I mean, that would be neat if it auto-named. Like, that's one thing that's annoying is I have a Logic session that is like, you know, I went in and built based on our Midas M32 setup, so that way I know what actually the tracks are without having to look back at the board. What's 33 or what's, we don't have 33. What's 19? But you're saying the stereo plays back your stereo sum you recorded. Yeah, but like, does it offer you stereo mixing, or is it just, it's just a sum of all the channels summed? It's not actually like mixed. It just gives you the ability to play back all the channels over a left-right output. I mean, yeah, the old one could do that as well. So, yeah, it looks interesting though. I mean, Logic Pro's been working fine for us on our old iMac, y'all. So, I like it because then I can go in and not have to bounce any stems if I do want to remix something. And a lot of times with us, if I'm remixing things, I actually will just play it back through the M32 and use all the pre-built processing that we've already got set up for, because I like the way our live stream sounds, and then I'll just remix on the fly. I don't think I've ever actually, like, I had a free thing for Waves, and I just didn't, for the last year, actually. I never made any content about it. I never mixed with Waves. I just didn't have the time to dive into it, to do all the plugin based DAW editing stuff. Plus, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, like, I've used Reason and Logic, well, Reason really, for so long for recording, that's kind of my, like, I actually like Reason the best, which is probably weird, but yeah, it's just what I'm used to. So, but Logic has worked well for us, but that does seem like a nice budget option. I mean, for $15, like, Logic's, I don't know, $250, $300. So, of course, Reaper's free. Audacity I use. So, it's interesting. Nothing special. I'm looking at Alexander's comment here. Yeah. Paul says, at my church, we use Ardour. The Wave stuff is based on that, and Ardour is just a free DAW. Huh. I've never heard of Ardour. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Open source collaborative. Linux, Mac, and Windows. Plugins. MIDI. Huh. Yeah, this looks familiar, doesn't it, to you Dante guys? I've never used Dante either. I'm an imposter. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for pointing that one out, Paul. Hey, free is great, right? Isn't Reaper free? Reaper is not free. No. There's another one. Oh, Cakewalk. 100% free. Yeah, Cakewalk's the other one that I've heard of. Gosh, there's so many good tools out there, y'all. Lots of good tools. Hey, this is a project that we've been up to in the last couple of weeks. It's making progress. This is the space that we will be moving into during our construction, and the stage was like right there. It's tiny. And so we've been constructing this little guy, and you can see right up here, just barely, our LED wall that we installed. So full video coming on that. Can't wait to show that to you guys. It's working great. Looks awesome. And I don't want to give away too many details, but super excited to share that with you guys. There was a couple other comments in here. Looking for a solid PTZ that has ease in, ease out type movement. Any recommendation? A larger sensor would be nice too, but no, that means more money. So I have been contacted yesterday by a company wanting me to look at some PTZs. You know, I'm not the PTZ guy, but I'm definitely open to it if they actually are worth the money to me. That, like, the feature set has to really be worth the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 price tag. Because, like, you know, a CRN 300 or 500, how much are those? $3,000, $2,400 for this, for the N300, $5,000 for the N500. And I don't know. I'm assuming they should be able to do programmable ease in, ease out moves. I don't know if it can be looping like we do with some of our units, but I sure would hope so for $5,000 that they'd be able to do that. You know, there's other brands out there. I'm just not familiar if they're able to do it. I know, you know, Jake released another video with PTZ Optics, I think, the other day. So you might just send him a message and ask their team if they know. Or maybe somebody in the comments can tell you as well if there's a better way, a better PTZ out there that can do what you're trying to do with the just really long easing in, easing out, pre-programmed, obviously, not on the fly. I'd love some recommendations for a budget-friendly fluid head and tripod for a primary camera at about 50 feet from the stage. Well, if you go on my channel, and I can link this, and you just search fluid, I have a video. Recently, I've been about budget fluid heads for video. The head that we use is the 502 AH from Manfrotto, and I will put that in the comments over here. Hopefully that works for you. It is a great head if you don't need to go up, down, left, right at the same time. And let's see if it's just me talking the whole time or if I have any actual footage of it. There you go. Frodo would recommend because it does have fluid drag on the tilt and the pan. Now, what it doesn't have, that this next level up that I'll show you does have, is continuous counterbalance. And E-Image or GH06 or something, I don't know, that model gets a lot of love. If you need both up and down, left, right, like if your pastor walks up stage and down stage a lot, or you have a shallow focus and you need to follow, not focus, that doesn't matter. But if you're moving up and down a lot, the Nitrotech 608 is probably the next budget head that, you know, people recommend. For us, it was just like, we don't need that. We literally are just going bloop, 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 panning back and forth, following our pastor. Like I'll show you, let's see if our 14-year-old that was following, chill, bro, if he did a good job following.
Of times probably. And so we had this guy, I don't remember what his name was, but he kind of showed us like how to put on the gear and like the backpack and the big tank, and you've got the, you know, the mask on your face, and there's like something that like helps you to
walk
go
around,
up
Ben.
and down in the water and all of this.
Not too much,
and he's
though.
showing
Not
all
too
this, and
fast.
I am listening to like every word as if my life depends on it. Well, because it does. And so I'm focused in on, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to do? He's not moving
nearly as much as our pastor.
And then they took us and they put us in a swimming pool. And
anyways, it works good enough for us. I don't know if, I mean, obviously you can spend a lot of money on fluid heads. Like, they're super expensive. I would love to know from you guys if you're using a good budget fluid head that you'd recommend. You know, there's a lot of options out there, but you know, you hate to just buy a bunch and test them, but that's what I did. And that's what that video is about. Charles, yeah, we talked about the live stream plans already, so I'll unpin that one. Tony asks, what is your opinion on live comments versus disabled comments? Oh, I mean, I'm a fan of live comments, obviously. I think if you're saying like when people disable the comments completely on their live stream, maybe you put out a controversial video and the algorithm found it, and then now all the people that are just like keyboard warriors for a different cause than ours start piling on about something. I don't know that I would disable comments. I mean, you can hide comments on these platforms, And I think that's probably the way I would go if it's offensive or if it's just like combative, you know, for it's not actually like we're not discussing anything here. You're just being mean. Then, yeah. And I've had to do that, you know, to people on my channel as well that somehow stumble across a video and for whatever reason want to, I guess, just spew hate or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't think I would go disabled comments on most things for churches. I want to encourage interaction. So, you know, there's 24 of you guys on here. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the live stream today. And we're going to be getting into some live stream reviews here in just a moment. Is there any other questions from you guys, comments, things you want to chat about? LBJ, let's see here. What are your thoughts on the Panasonic Lumix SM2X? Oh, the S5 2X, not the SM. So the S5 2X is great. It definitely is. It's more for like if you need the best quality codecs and all the bells and whistles for a little higher end production stuff, then I think it's a great camera. For me, the S5 II that you're seeing now is plenty. I think it does a great job, and it's a lot cheaper. I got this one used on eBay for under $1,500. So that's pretty cheap for a full frame camera that can do a lot. It has it has a lot of features to it. So there's so many options out there when it comes to cameras, but I think you don't necessarily need the S5 IIX unless you're doing some like bigger cinematography stuff for live streaming, for capturing interviews, necessarily things like B-roll around your church. I think the S5 II would be great. Stabilization's great. It's got good picture profiles. Obviously compatibility with other glass other than L mount. Like this is an EF85 1.8. Seems to be working pretty good. Yeah, and would I recommend them for live stream? Yeah, so I'll show you on our live stream. Brian, if you're still here, you're probably about to get featured again. Let's see if I can go back to our channel. And we used it for a couple of weeks on our live stream for StageCam. Is it this one? I don't think so. I think it was a different one. Yeah, I think it was Grace Upon Grace. I'll turn that down. And I think we had it on auto ISO, or maybe I had the ISO too high. When we go over to electric guitar, you'll see. But it was autofocusing really well. Just click on the person and it would track with them. Let's see if I can find the spot where it's at. Unless I'm crazy and it was a different week and maybe it wasn't this week that we have the feature video from. Because I'm not sure that that's it. I think that was it. That's when, yeah, a little focus pull there. I'm not sure. We used it a few times and it worked great. It's a little beefier than a GH5, not by much. It's very comfortable to hold. Yeah, it worked good. All right. What Waves plugins are recommended for live streaming? From John. Well, I think one good way to learn that would be to download the Bethel guy's Hendrickson, his template, and see what he uses on it. There's lots of guys out there that talk about their Waves setups. I personally, like I said earlier, like I had access to all the Waves stuff for free, and I just never had the chance to really mess with it. People love their different compressors, and I think a lot of people really like the dynamic multiband compressors or something, where it, depending on the frequencies, it compresses different parts of the frequency spectrum. Is that right, guys? Instead of just like compressing the whole signal. I forget what that's called. Or dynamic EQ maybe is something else that they'll use. But yeah, if you guys use Waves and you have a favorite, throw that in the chat. It's always helpful. Oh, I'm taking your course too. Hey, LBJ, thanks a bunch, man. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you find value in it. Again, if you're just joining us, I want to throw that coupon code up there again for you guys, because today only, like at midnight, this will go away, but you get $15 off just for my live stream fam here, an extra 15 off. So that brings it down to $50 for over 2 hours of content where I really try to succinctly and pack in as much helpful knowledge of basically everything I've learned that we've implemented in our live stream here: audio, video, lighting, pre-service, post-service, encoding, like all these different things into, 18 different modules, videos of content for you guys. So next level live streaming on a budget, link in the description, and that's for you guys. And thank you to you early adopters that went ahead and purchased the course. I hope that it's budget friendly. It's a budget friendly course because I know it's targeted at us that are trying to do this thing on a budget. Ty asks, what is your system for gathering new volunteers? That's a great question. Volunteers, like, we can't do this without them, right? We are called to equip people to do the ministry. And I think that a lot of times as media people, we are wired to kind of do things on our own and not release people to do things. And so far, even going as far as like, we'll program everything to MIDI from one Ableton session and say that we just can't get volunteers. And it's like our little pet project back in the media booth, right? So even when I was at a church that ran 75 people, I still implemented systems to get volunteers involved and training those volunteers. But as far as like gathering new volunteers, I have a video on my channel about this, and we can just pull it up real quick. But I will tell you that my system essentially is, number one, I'm always looking for new volunteers. We have a system for people that are coming to our church that can tell us their interests. And how do I find volunteers? If you just search volunteer, Sunday Vlog 19, I'll go through all that. So that's an easy way, if you have somebody like a connections director that can point people to you. Now, you don't always get the highest quality people that way because you just don't really know what you're getting. But I'm always on the look, like, who do I know that has a photography side hustle or works in IT at their business, or just that kid that, just seems kind of creative. And so for the tech and media side of things, that's the best way that I found, is to actually target specific people and just approach them and ask them, hey, would you be interested in doing something like XYZ? Another good way that I've found to do it is having like biannual open houses. What I mean by that is, like, on a Wednesday night when we have rehearsal, I will advertise like, hey, we're having an open house. This is a zero commitment. Just come. If you have any interest in being a part of our tech ministry, shadow people, tour the systems that we have. I will walk through with our tech director all the different gear that we have, kind of show them how the behind the scenes of how we make a Sunday morning work, from, how the audio systems work, to ProPresenter, to lighting, to broadcast, cameras, everything around the room and the stages, and just kind of cast vision at that about how important and integral technology is to what we're trying to accomplish here at Central. We could do all this without it, but I think we can do more with it. And so, God can do whatever he wants, but we're going to use the tools that we have available. And that has been good to get people on board, and also show people that maybe thought they were interested, like, I don't think I'm built for that. And that's okay. Like, go serve in a different area of the church, not another church. And then I'd say the last way is just like having that farm system from our youth group. So we are cross-training on all similar systems like an X32 and Jans Vista in the youth room into what we use, M32, Vista, and those kinds of things, to be able to train them up. And then Sunday mornings we're using, half the team almost is kids under 18. So that's a large part of getting volunteers. Good question, Ty. I hope that you found that helpful. That was surface, but you can go check out that video on my channel as well. Okay, y'all ready to jump into some live stream reviews? Let's do this. All right, we've got a bunch here, and let me just pull these up real quick, and we'll get going. All right, our first live stream review is from Church of the King. So Connor, if you're there, let me know in the chat. I would love it if you were there. They are using all Blackmagic stuff, ATEM 2ME, 6Ks, pocket 4Ks with different lenses. Wants some help with like shot composition. What's my favorite camera? Cinema camera for broadcast. And the audio is a bus off of a D-Live. So let's go ahead and look at, what did I say, Church of the King. And pull them up here. Let's give it a listen and look. And you guys chime in the comments and help me out.
We praise you. We sing, every voice. We sing to the God who heals. We sing to the God who saves. We sing to the God who always makes a way. Yes, he does. 'Cause he hung up on that cross, then he rose up from that grave. And my God still rolling stones away. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. We won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord.
All right, so I'm going to start just saying things as we go here. I'm going to go a little quicker today, hopefully, so I can get to more of these. So this wireless shot, I'm assuming, looks to be delayed. And so for a tight shot, it's a little distracting. Let me know if I'm crazy. Let me go back here and you guys watch his mouth as we sing.
There's joy in the house of the Lord today. We won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord.
In my opinion, that's too much. That's too much lip sync. That's distracting. That's off. So if you're using Hollyland or something else with a lot of latency, I would try to avoid that. So another thing I noticed audio-wise, it sounds like his voice is a little sibilant to me on the top end on some of his S's. So, I mean, on the D-Live, if you have some kind of de-esser, I don't use a de-esser, but I know a lot of people do.
God is surely in this place. We won't be quiet. We shout out your praise.
Ooh, I like that piano.
We were the beggars.
Also, video shot quality looks stellar. I love this composition right here. Those two lines of lights, the backlight hitting them a little bit, popping them off. The back of that, just super well exposed. Color looks great.
Now we're royalty. We were the prison, and now we're running free. We are forgiven.
Okay. Oops. Sorry.
Except
I was looking at the volume.
by his grace, let the house of the Lord sing praise. Let us sing praise. Come on. We were the now we're
Bass players
we were
getting
the
it.
prisoners, and now we're running free. We are forgiven.
A little shaky, obviously.
Accepted, redeemed by his grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. Come on. There's joy in the house of the Lord.
Listen for that snare.
There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy.
I think I just want that snare to hit me a little bit more, be a little punchier. It sounds a little dead to me.
There is joy. Surely in this place.
Love that shot down the piano.
We shout out your praise. There's joy
Good job
in the house of the
cutting on that big hit.
There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet.
Yeah, that wireless is
Shout
distracting
out
me.
your praise. There's joy in the house of the
Good job.
Lord. Our God is surely in this place. We won't be
Small thing, but I kind of wish the drummer had the same key light, he's very purple facey.
praise. There's joy in the house of
So during these kinds of times, when it's like that ad-libby outro between things, I don't like being on the singers when that's happening. Like, go to the instrumentalist because it's a instrumental. So now I'd be cutting away. You did.
We won't be quiet. Shout out your praise. Come on, shout out his praise today.
I like how you went to a wide shot there to show the room again at the end of the song. I love doing that just to reestablish kind of the space that we're in. So hopefully that gives you some ideas with shot composition. I think that how you got the camera set up and locked in looks really good. Audio mix, if you guys hear anything, let me know. I thought it sounded really good too. So nice work. What was it? Christ the King? Christ? I don't remember. That was Church of the King. Yeah, they did a great job. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete them and head on over to our next one, unless you guys have some stuff you want to chat about. Hey, all right. Let me just say thank you, Wes. I really appreciate the encouragement. Says he wanted to hop on here for a second and say hi. Thanks for what you do. Well, I appreciate the encouragement. Seriously. Dustin, longtime supporter and friend. He's at a new church, and maybe you can relate to this. Keep them in their prayers. They've got a long way to go on their stream, and I'm discipling, developing people instead of taking over. Amen, Dustin. Let's go. Sometimes you got to lead by example a little bit. Show them what you want first, right? And then release them to even make it better than what you showed them it could be. So that's that tough balance, right? Whenever you are the one actually giving the vision. But yeah, if you're at a new church, maybe you can relate to that, and almost starting over too. Like, gosh, that could be, man, if I think about leaving what I've done here, I've been here for 14 years. Like, if God calls me away, so be it. But man, we just love where we're at, and that would be tough. Like, we're in the middle of building this new worship center, and I'm just so rooted here at Central. So Dustin, I'm praying for you is what I'm trying to say. Appreciate you, friend. See if I missed any of your comments. All right, before we go to the next live stream, I'll share one other thing I noticed that came out recently. Let's see. Did you see the AI implementation that SundayKeys has put into their app?
Or you can build exactly what you need from our curated sound library. But each of these approaches still takes time and a bit of sound design experience. So we've gone to work to imagine a whole new way to build a patch. An approach as simple as just telling us what kind of patch you need, like this. Can you make a patch with a piano and pad that I can use to play underneath someone who is praying?
Must just be ChatGPT somehow. I don't know. I think this could be very interesting for pianists. I know
a bright patch for an upbeat song with lots of synths and a bass in the left hand. I need an organ, an electric piano, and layered strings, using at least 6 sounds.
So I think it's pretty interesting, y'all. Like, I could see our pianist using something like this because she is not like a main stage wizard. She is a classically trained pianist that can play anything that I put in front of her. But something like this, even for me setting up stuff, not having to like go and download different patches or build my own patches from scratch to kind of mimic whatever we're seeing. I think that SundayKeys is onto something here, and their implementation of this stuff with their iPad app just keeps getting better and better, I think. So props to you guys. David, you're doing a great job. Do any of you guys use SundayKeys at your church? Have you been happy with it? Have you tried this new AI implementation that they're offering? It seems pretty intriguing to me. Brian says, okay, now that is cool. Yeah, I haven't really seen anything like that. Like, what if you had the ability to go into your Helix software or your Kemper or whatever, your Axe Effects, and describe a guitar patch that way? Like, let's contextualize this for guitar players. If I was able to say, give me a patch with 6 snapshots on the verse, I'd like for it to have a dotted eighth delay with 50% mix and low drive, and then on the second one, to describe it that way, and then like it just builds a Helix patch for you instead of you having to tinker with stuff and then maybe go in and do it. And one thing that is cool is like you can just like regenerate or tell it in the software that he was showing, oh, I like that part, but do this. And so just to kind of like even inspire yourself, like, hey, build a patch that has 8 layers that sounds like a heavenly thing with, out of the 80s or something. I don't know. Just something to inspire you where you're not just click, play, click, play, click, play as you go through all the patches. So I think it's pretty interesting. I would lose my mind, but I think my creativity itch would take a massive hit. Or it could make you more creative. It probably just depends on how we use the tool. Love SundayKeys. Haven't been able to get it integrated into our services yet, as our keys player is uncomfortable with tech like that. Yeah, that's for sure something to consider, is like the person that's actually going to be using this, do they enjoy it? I want to make sure that my team actually enjoys getting to play. I probably haven't always done the greatest job of that. Sometimes I sacrifice the player's preference for what I think sounds the best. And I think that there has to be times where that discussion does have to be had. We moved away from a full grand piano and a separate like full Rhodes keyboard and another thing on top of that played pads, to what we're using now, just a main stage setup. I've got a video on my channel where I show that whole breakdown. And that was a process of me trying to explain the why. For us to mic a grand piano well, we'd really need to get expensive DPA mics or the Earthworks system. I tried so many different ways to make it come through the mix and sit in the mix correctly. And then the Kawai that we have, every 4 months needed to be retuned. And it took up so much space on our stage. And so now we have the flexibility of transposing songs on the fly, which has been huge. I'm not having to transpose every single piece of sheet music, that I get from Praise Charts or something for them. We can just use the transpose button. And it sits in the mix so much better now, and we can tweak things. And so, yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and that's probably wise of you as a leader to make sure you're not forcing that on somebody. Yes, you can do that. That was a question I saw raised, was like, make me a patch that sounds like Hans Zimmer. Isn't it Hans Zimmer, the cinematic sounding like movie score guy? And yeah, you can do that as well. So that makes you wonder, like, what is the model trained on? That's the big thing that people talk about now, is like, what is this AI being trained on? And I don't know that. I just watched his YouTube video, but it was very interesting. Thanks for being resourceful for us here on YouTube. We're still far off, but we're always inspired seeing your ministrations and presentations. Well, thank you. Thank you for that encouragement. I'm trying, y'all. Really, remember, this channel is just all about documenting my journey as a worship and media arts pastor. I'm somebody that's in the trenches, like doing it week in and week out, like trying to do my very best. And I just realized like I can help other people that are doing the same thing, maybe not make the same mistakes or take as long to get from A to B as I took. And so that's the hope with the channel. And I appreciate all the support over the last 3 years. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years since I started this journey. Yeah. Speaking of AI, I do want to bring up one other one that I've seen. Have you guys heard of VERSEABLE.church? VERSEABLE is an AI system that you can purchase that implements in Planning Center. So if you're a worship pastor, this helps find music that connects to a theme specifically. Instead of having to rack your brain or go on praise charts or song select and search by theme, you can make AI work for you with your Planning Center, your specific Planning Center library, and it will even show you how long it's been since you did that song. So like watch a little bit of their demo here.
But with VERSEABLE, I can search our church's Planning Center library for songs that relate to complex concepts and topics in seconds. So VERSEABLE has already synced the song lyrics from my Planning Center library, and it's ready for me to search. But let's try trusting in God's perfect timing for our song of reflection. All right, VERSEABLE has found some songs, and it's highlighted the sections of each song that relate most strongly to our search. Now right away, you'll notice that we didn't search the word waiting, but VERSEABLE is smart enough to recommend a song with lyrics about how God is never late, and he's working all things out. I'm going to skip this song, and actually the next song as well, because I can see that they haven't been scheduled in the last year. VERSEABLE pulls in information from Planning Center about how frequently a song has been scheduled, so you can see what songs may or may not be familiar to your congregation already. Now this song was last scheduled 5 months ago, so this could be a good fit, and I can see a lot of the lyrics relate to my search. I'll Give Thanks seems like a really strong fit for our service. I like how verse 2 says, though the future...
Yeah, so you get the idea there, the implementation there. So you can go on VERSEABLE.church and kind of watch more and look into that. Simple pricing, it's $6 a month. It is officially like noted on the Planning Center website, so it does look like it's like an actual... They've given them the API or whatever programmers do to be able to implement this. So for $6 a month, if you're a worship pastor, that might be interesting. Or if you want to look like a really smart tech person, you could send that link to your worship pastor and say, hey, I don't know if you saw this, but this might, be a helpful tool in your worship planning. So as we try to support each other in our ministries. Looks like the email I sent out earlier this morning just went out, so hopefully we'll have some people joining us. I don't know why it just now hit people's inboxes, but hey, we'll see. So yeah, VERSEABLE, had you heard of that? What do you guys think? Is that interesting to you? I think it's pretty interesting to see how like AI can actually be useful. So there's other ways that, you can use ChatGPT, and maybe all this stuff is just based around whatever engine that is, but it says it's actually being fed through Planning Center's song lyric bank. So maybe you have to have song lyrics attached to each song in your song bank for it to work. It's another interesting one. Let's go to another live stream review. Let me pull one up here and we'll keep on going. The Governing Church is next. That's an interesting name for a church. They have 2 Blackmagic 6K Pros. Yeah, let's pull it up and just see. This is on the fly, guys. I don't know. We'll see.
Thank you for the special way you've chosen to love us.
I'm pretty sure we've reviewed you guys before. It's a great looking image. I don't know what telephoto lens you have on that, but between this one and that one, let me go. It's a little darker, so you might have to add a little bit of ISO on there to match that exactly.
Thank you.
But look at the dynamic range. Skin tones versus white shirts, white pants. The 6K Pros look good, y'all. Like the dynamic range in a setting like this is really helpful.
Mercy.
And they just have 2 cameras, nothing super special. Let's go forward to some music starting here. Great voice.
For you delight and show in mercy.
Let's go. These lyric design, it doesn't match the vibe to me. I don't know, like I'd go all caps, less outline maybe, but it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem as like fancy as they look. Let's go ahead and go forward a little here. I think, you know, one thing you have trouble with just 2 cameras is just not having any establishing shot. So far, all we've seen is the worship team going back and forth. No instrumentalists, no congregation. And yeah, do we do a little focus pull there? Nice work. Yeah, you guys need to try implementing stuff like that in there. I like that you're doing that. You only have 2 cams, but you're trying to make it something there. Anyways, nice work with what you got there. I think that's really, really good. Dawson, a bit behind on the stream. I use and love SundayKeys, but honestly, I prefer making my own patches because I'm a control freak. That's funny. Well, just hit that little live button down in the bottom left of the player and you'll catch up. So maybe I should turn off the DVR option in the live stream so that way people have to watch live and then they can go back. Because, like, I want you to participate in the live stream. You know? Like, I want you to chat with us. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a good thought on our church's one as well. Do people have the ability to DVR? And is that a good thing? I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that now. Let's go to our next live stream review. I've got some other things we'll chat about here in a little bit. Again, if you're just joining us, I would love for y'all to hop in and do some more Q&A this week, just to be able to, you know, chat about whatever you're curious about. So, you know, there's all kinds of things that are happening as we kick into the fall season. Well, it's not fall, but school's starting back, and maybe you're looking at upgrading your cameras, your lighting, your audio. Like, what's that next thing that you need some help with? Obviously, the course has lots of helpful content, but if you have a specific question, I would love to chat about it some more. And let me get this next live stream review pulled up. Thank you to Cutting Edge Ministries for submitting that one. And keep up the good work. Remember, if you have submitted and you want to move to the front of the line, you can always do a super chat to bump ahead. Oh, here we go. Oak Ridge Church. Karis Dennis. They have 3 Hitachi stick cameras, 3 wireless Canon cameras with different rigs. And they do a separate broadcast mix. My camera's in the way. Using a different Yamaha board. All right, let's pull it up here.
Hey, church family, we are so glad that you're here. Will you please stand if you're able and let's sing together? Come on.
I like that. That's a good start to the service, like addressing online specifically. Might be a little weird in the room, but I liked it for online.
I believe there is one salvation, one doorway that leads to life. One
Sounds like somebody's clapping in the mic.
confession. I believe
Maybe the girl with the acoustic guitar.
Jesus Christ. Hey,
That tom was
are
like
you with
really
me?
panned far.
I believe in the crucifixion. By his blood I have been set free. I believe in the
I mean, unless this guy's playing a different keyboard part, that did not match what I'm hearing.
I believe in the crucifixion.
energy of the cut, like it's fast, going with the song.
All praise to God the Father. All praise to
Lots of pushes and
Christ the
pulls.
Son. All praise to the Holy Spirit. Our
Little
God
shaky.
has overcome. The King who was and is and evermore.
So to me, the main thing I'm hearing here is the drum set just sounds really dry to me. I want some more verb on those toms. Like they just sound a little lifeless. The kick even sounds like, I don't know that I'd put reverb on the kick, but I'm just saying like, it just sounds a little papery.
Will be in Jesus' mighty name. I believe.
Not hearing any tracks or anything, so they may not be using it.
I believe in the hope of heaven. He's preparing a place.
Yeah, again, it's delayed on the wireless to me.
Hearts imagine, ears have heard, or eyes have seen. I believe
Nice focus pull.
the day is coming.
That was good.
He's returning to claim
I love how happy everyone looks to be there. Like they're excited to be worshiping. A lot of, I'm noticing a lot of varied shots too. Like your camera ops are getting lots of different shots, which is great.
All praise to God the Father. All praise to Christ the Son. All praise to the Holy Spirit.
Might be a little quick on the pullouts.
God has overcome. The King who was and is and evermore will be. In Jesus' mighty name, I believe. Oh, I believe in you. There's no other way. No, I'll never be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus.
Let's go to the message.
Is that lifeguard. And he says so in John 14. Look in John 14. Jesus told him, I am the way.
It's like, why not frame this with it filling the screen, like him in the top left corner and the screen. I love the way you're doing this with that scrim in the back, or the whole screen in the back.
I am the truth, and I am the life. He doesn't say I'm your
But I
truth,
would
or I'm
frame it
his truth, or this is
right
my truth.
here.
He says I am the truth.
You know?
Any people grammar freaks? Like definite article. And then he sure even. So from the earliest teachings of the church,
Yeah.
it's consistent.
And every shot
you-
is like that. I don't like this framing. Do it the way I said. Yeah, but honestly, it's looking great. I thought it sounded really good. I didn't hear any tracks, so I was just curious if you are using tracks. Brian asked an interesting question. Any tips on implementing tracks to a worship team that has never used them before, helping my old home church get an in-ear system set up? Well, I think you're well on the way. Step one for sure is getting people on in-ears. So I've used Trax since I was in college, which was, I think we started using Trax in 2003 or 4 maybe. I may be stretching that a little bit, but I know it was before 2005. And back then we were just actually using like a loop, like a percussion loop, and the drummer would start and stop it, you know, and he might have a click track in his ear from like a Dr. Beat, I think was what it was called. And he would click us off, and then he would have the click just for him, a metronome. Then whenever, like, I think Hearback was the first system and Avioms came out, that's whenever we were starting to be able to give everyone that. And so I think step one is get an in-ear system. Get people familiar with just like wearing in-ears before you try to get them on a click track. Because that can be pretty jarring if you've been like on wedges your whole life and now you're isolated. Obviously, if you can do an ambient mic, an audience mic, like in channel 16 or something like that, where people can put that in their ears, that helps a lot. People are going to want to wear just one ear at first. Really try to, from the beginning, like tell them, hey, wear both ears. You're going to regret it. Like it's going to cause hearing damage. You're going to crank that up. And so you'll actually be able to get a better feel and mix if you use the stereo imaging of your headphones with an ambient mic. So I mean, Brian's played at our church many times, and a lot of people that play at our church love the sound that they are able to get in their in-ears. And we just have P16s. It's nothing special, but stereo goes a long ways. So do that. And then what I would do is I would try probably no actual tracks, just a metronome and maybe like a pad, tonic pad going. Use a metronome even without like the guide telling you what to do. Just start the metronome so that way everybody's on the same page. But if you get off, it's not that big a deal. You know, you just kill it and just keep going. And then if a baby step even before that would be to have the drummer alone use that. But I'm a fan of having everybody on it for sure. Then maybe start introducing some songs that have just some sparing tracks here and there. So that way if something does go bad, it's not that big a deal. Just baby step people into it. Definitely have those tracks available on Planning Center or some way for them to be able to rehearse that. I know Multitracks, I believe, has a new package. They've got so many different pricing packages. I don't know. It's confusing, and maybe they're trying to simplify, and that has changed. But I believe the rehearsal mix is included in that, to where you can give that to people. And I think Loop Community allows you to log in and actually preview the tracks as a musician. So establishing what you want to use to run the tracks is probably another good thing to figure out at the beginning. Do you want to go with multi-tracks playback? I think that's a good option for churches. Prime from Loop Community is really good as well. I think the flexibility there and usability is really good. Who's going to start and stop the tracks? Is it going to come from front of house? Is it a pianist? Is it a drummer? All things to consider as you're launching into the world of click tracks. Good question. Abigail, live stream question. We recently launched a North campus and we use Resi to stream. We have an encoder at the main, a decoder at North. Is it possible to stream both ways? So from North to main and from main to North. If there's any Resi users out there that use the big boy encoders from them, maybe you can chime in and let me know. I don't know. I've been to a lot of churches that use Resi, but I've never heard that specific question. Like, can a decoder actually be an encoder? Or are they like you can flip flop them? I don't know. I don't want to answer that because I just don't know. So I would just chat with Resi about that. Crowd mics. You prefer more verb than using crowd mics? We have a lot of singers, so our room can get a little loud. Yeah, so, I mean, crowd mics are an interesting thing to really
and to
get
your
right.
children.
You know, I have a video on my channel where I kind of show you our process for audience mics and go through 4 different capsules and test them out. So if you want to go back and watch that video, you can. So I think one of the secrets that has helped us has been side chaining those crowd mics to our drums. So that way, whenever the drums are not playing, the crowd mics can shine through. But then when they are playing and the room itself is loud and you're not really going to hear people sing anyways, here it is. It knocks those down a little bit, like 6 dB or something. And yeah, reverb compensates for that. So you can go back and watch that video. I think you're on the right track, though. Some other tech that came out. Let's see. We talked about SundayKeys. We talked about VERSEABLE. How about the DJi SDR transmission? I've had people asking me, is this the new like hero of budget wireless video for the church? For $549, like the DJi name and tech behind their wireless transmission stuff has always been really good. You know, adopting that from their drones, basically. If you've ever flown a DJi drone, the ability to be able to view a crispy image from 1,000 feet away up in the air through a drone into your phone, and it just works. Like, yeah, it's great. So the DJi SDR is kind of, you know, taking that tech and putting it into something you could put on your cameras. My only fear is that the latency is still going to be too much. I think the lowest latency you can get is around like 50 milliseconds. And with our Teradek Ace 500 and Teradek Spark 750s and things like that, it is truly, it's so little latency that it's not even a frame. So, I mean, nothing is zero latency, but it's a fraction of what a frame is, depending on if you're 24, 29, 60, that kind of thing. But so I'm a fan of those. I think it's worth it. If you have a different thing that you might need wireless video for, like an overflow room or something like that, these might be worth a try for that. If you guys are really curious for me to actually test these out, I mean, I might be able to get a pair. I don't know. And see how they compare. But for $549, it is pretty interesting. I just wish there is a low latency mode, but it's still, I think, like 50. Normal is like, I think 120, and that's basically like the Hollyland transmitters at that point. So William, what kind of PTZ cameras do you have now? Because I'm always a fan of trying to stay within the same families of things to match your cameras. It can start getting really odd to get things to match. For instance, even this camera right here doesn't match perfectly this camera. If you look at my face skin tones, it's a GH5 Panasonic S5 Mark II. Much newer camera. Color science is a little different. Totally different sensor. But even like GH4, oh, my light died on Jesus, sorry Jesus, to this GH5, that matches pretty good, but it's not exact. But if I had my Canon RP in here, not only would color science be different, but lip sync would be different, because the latency out of the HDMI port is only, I think, two frames or 3 frames with that one, maybe 3. It's the same as the Pocket 4Ks, but my Panasonic cameras is more like 5 frames. So it's not just that, right? You start mixing and matching all these different cameras, and it's hard to get your audio lined up at that point. So, you know, what kind of PTZ camera do you use? Do they have another newer brand that still plays nice with your controller? Those are the things I would consider. Again, I'm not a PTZ guy. Maybe I can be converted. Maybe these companies just need to send me their best stuff, and I'll be like, you know what, guys, I was wrong, because this is sweet. But for the budget, I just usually think there's better options out there that can be multi-purpose cams. So another thing that came out that piqued my interest was the update to the Blackmagic Camera App. Does this give us the ability now to maybe utilize the iPhones that we have with a remote controlling of multiple iPhones?
So now technically I have 2 cameras set up. I have the camera built into the iPad and my phone. And as you can see, if I set this up, the latency is pretty good. It's not bad. Definitely for all my use cases, this is more than acceptable. The preview quality is also really good. And again, remember, you can set this up to be monitor only, or you can set it up to be control. So all these controls around the outer edge are the controls from my phone. So I can go in and I can adjust the ISO, white balance, and of course I can hit record and all that good stuff. On the phone, we can see this new little yellow outline showing that it is being remotely monitored. And in this top left, I can see a little slider for going back and forth between my multiple cameras. So right now I'm controlling the phone, but if I hit that little arrow, now I'm controlling this. Let's just say this is another phone. But again, I could go in, adjust all my settings for this camera. And if you want to see both or all of your cameras at the same time, you just hit that little multi-view button right there. And now I can see my camera A, camera B, and this is just so cool. This is basically the Final Cut Pro camera on steroids. It brought all those same features that we loved from that app, and now it's finally in the Blackmagic Camera app. This is...
I mean, it's pretty sweet, right? The Blackmagic Camera app opens up so many possibilities for really dialing in your iPhone. So like I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max here. I've been curious, like, what would an iPhone only live stream experience be like? Like, what if I had 4 of these and was able to remotely from the booth control the settings and dial in ISOs? For our settings, like, we don't really shade the cameras live, so that's not that big a deal, but to be able to see all the cameras remotely would be cool. I know there's things like Switcher Studio and some others out there that have come along. Sling, or was that one? Sling Studio? I don't know. Where you could do that with your phones already. So I just thought it was an interesting update. And wondered if you guys had heard about it. Do you use the Blackmagic Camera app, or is it kind of like, I'll just use my built-in app on my phone because I'm not making cinema videos here? All right, we're going to pull up the next live stream review. Remember, you still have time to submit. Let's see. Okay. We've got Winners Chapel International from Toronto. So they have Blackmagic cameras, Pocket 6Ks, and a Canon EOS R for a switcher? I don't think so. For the switcher, they're using an 8-input SDI, Blackmagic TV Studio. And the audio just sounds jumbled. They're using Dante into Logic Pro. So let's see if we can help them out with the audio. Pull it up here.
Upon the throne, we raise a sound. We raise a sound. Hey, for He is God and God alone.
It's interesting on the vertical iMag.
Upon the throne, we raise a sound. We raise a sound. We raise a sound.
I don't know, we're just sitting on this shot for a long time. There we go. And we're cutting to some other stuff. Looks like this shot needs to be stabilized a little more, maybe. As far as tripod, maybe it's on a stand that is getting some vibration there. Let's pop ahead here and see if they go to anything else. This wide shot is just kind of dark, but the shadows, you know, on stage, like, I can't see people's faces. I like that composition right there at the background. Here we go.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Hallelujah.
It sounds like it's getting over compressed, especially with the drums. Yeah, I would say if you have all those cameras, like pop around to different shots a little more often. There's a little too much headroom on this shot as well. You know, this is a vibing song. Like, show us the drums, show us the different players. Here we go. You know, we're going some congregation shots. It just sounds like maybe there's overcompression on the audio side of things. Maybe add some more verb to your background vocalists so they blend more together. Maybe add them to a subgroup and compress all those BGVs together. But like every time the drums hit, it's squashing the mix. All right, there's my thoughts for you, Winter's Chapel. Thanks for submitting. All right, guys, what questions do you have? Q&A time. Let's dive into some more. I'd love to be able to pin some of your comments here and see what you're thinking as I pull up my next live stream review here and chat a little bit more. Remember, if you've not checked out my new course, Next Level Live Streaming on a Budget, I'd love for you to do that. There's a link in the description of this video. Today only, there is a special for you guys that are on the live stream. You can have $15 extra off of the discount, so you get it for $50 essentially today only. So I think it's well worth that, but you know what? If you buy it and you don't think it was, just let me know. I'll give you your money back. Next live stream review. Going through these real quick. Like if you submit one and you don't give me any details about your setup, it's hard for me to want to review it. Like it's a few forms to fill out. All right, here's one that has 3 Panasonic UX series cameras. Quit using Livestream Studio, now we're using Resi with vMix. This is Kearney Grace, or Carney Grace, I'm not sure. Let's see. Their issues they're having is they're not getting good shots on camera because of the lack of skill. Would it be more beneficial just to switch with a joystick type of system instead of relying on volunteers? No. I'm not a fan of that, but you know what? I understand it can be a struggle, but I think training goes a long ways.
That was the workday from a week ago. A lot of great things happen around here, and you have another opportunity to come and serve this Tuesday. And I know a lot of you will be working, but Tuesday from 8 to 10.
Okay, so it's just the message that he linked. So, hey, look, that was. Hey, look at this. This is that lower third right there. That's some of mine that I give away. Did you know that?
A week ago. A lot of great things happen around here, and you have
ProPresenter templates. If you search on my channel, ProPresenter, you'll find those. I think I have 20 different nameplate badges now that you can download and use in your live stream. I think that they're following them just fine. Looks a little yellowy, greenish yellowy to me. Skin tones.
If you're rescuing of come on, say it.
I like your backdrop. But I like how it's not washing onto him. See, this camera skin tones look correct. What's the difference here? This one's skin tones are good. This one. darker,
And, those
more
of you
yellowy.
trained, and there were first.
But this one
options
looks
that we're gonna
good.
be able to
So I'd
do.
match whatever you
These,
got going on
Big
here.
Igloo celebrations over time.
That's
Different
my
things we've
fave.
done for the community, the kind of
I mean,
Big Igloo
obviously,
fireworks,
try to keep them
Freedom
centered,
Fest
but
that we did for
you're not gonna be able to follow your pastor with joysticks well, And I am yet to see the tracking stuff that actually does better or even good enough for pastor follow cam and just like set it and forget it. And if you use tracking that automatically tracks with your PTZs and it just like works great, any of you do that? Thanks for submitting though. I really appreciate that. And hopefully you found that at least somewhat helpful. Our drums do similar things. The audio is so sensitive to them. The kick in particular. Any thoughts? I think that's all about dialing in, those settings as far as your gates, your compressors, all of those things. I would encourage you to, if you go on my channel and just search drums, then you will find our deep dive setup that I've gone through and shown how everything is set up. And also I share the M32 template here that has all of our drum settings that you can go in and download. So all of our audio processing stuff for drums is in here, and hopefully that helps kind of give you some ideas. There's lots of good resources out there that might help, but if you have all your drums down into a drum bus and then those are compressed separately a little bit more, just like gradually adding that's what we do to kind of make them not totally push your whole mix down. And I'm not an audio expert or anything, but I'm happy with our drum sounds, and I think that they've been good. So you can check that video out as well. Jack wants to know, what wireless mic capsules are y'all using for vocals? So we are still rocking Shure ULX old school stuff. It's not digital. You can't put an Ethernet cable into the back of them. Like, they're old units, and they're the old school Beta 87As. And I mean, those are still great capsules, but I know a lot of people love some of the newer stuff, options that have come out, but we don't have like special capsules or anything on them. They're just old Shure mics that I mean, they've been here at least 15 years at our church, and we're still using them, and honestly still happy with them. They sound, I love the 87A. I bought an 87A a long time ago just because I tried a bunch of different mics for my voice and I thought it suited it well. Didn't have to do a bunch of EQ. It just kind of brightens up the top end just a little bit, I think. Am I right on that, guys? Let's look at the Beta 87A frequency response. Yeah, so where'd you go? Here we go. I don't know what the dotted line means, but yeah, it's boosting a little here between 2 and 10K. Is that what that means, y'all? I'm not crazy, am I? Yeah, I think so. So we like them. It's just what came with the mics, and it's been good. Good question. Thoughts on the Phenyx Pro Distro kit? I'm assuming you're talking about the RF distro from Phenyx Pro. I know a lot of things in the Facebook groups go around and around on this one. No, not frequency response. RF. Let's just do that. Maybe I typed it correctly. So I love our Phenyx Pro wireless in-ears unit that we have, and to be honest, like, this looks just like the paddles and RF distro we have for our Shure system. I don't know if it's RF Venue or I don't remember which model we have, but it looks pretty much the same. I've seen mixed reviews from people, that for a small small church or venue that you can maybe get away with it, but that maybe they might fail sooner. That's $340. I don't know. Does Shure have their own model? Yeah, I think this is what we have. Maybe not, because I don't know if it would be compatible. Gosh, I don't know. I'm not an RF guy. There it is. No, that's Phenyx Pro one. You know what I would do? Here's what I would do, honestly. If you need it, I would buy it and try it. And if it doesn't work, return it. That's what I would do. It's $340. You know, Amazon, free returns. That's what I would do. I would try it in my space, because every space is different when it comes to RF. And so it's worth a try, right? That's my thoughts on it. Just looking through your comments here, making sure I haven't missed anything. Alrighty, on to the next live stream review. Let me pull it up here. Sorry, my cameras are in front of my TV that I'm looking at all this on, so I kind of have to like look around them sometimes. Sounds like a lot of people are having issues with volunteers not having the ability for what we hope we can achieve shot-wise. And I hope to be putting out some content in the future that might help with that. Okay. Who is this? Gresham Family Worship Center. Announcements. Here we go.
My cup overflows, it's running over. Gotta give him glory, gotta give him glory, gotta give him glory. For the overflow, gotta give him glory, gotta give him glory, gotta give him glory. For the overflow, it's praise deep in my soul, it's overflowing.
Love the energy here from your team. Like, I can tell everybody's really into it and worshiping. Love that. Facial expressions, leading. Looks like your church is participating well. This shot I saw, obviously it's tough with the maybe dynamic range of this camera. You can tell she's really overexposed, but then shadows are really crushed. So I'm not sure which camera that one is. I think you said it had some other Sonys. Audio-wise, it sounds to me like the vocals are there, like it's a board mix maybe, but then all the instrumentalists are kind of, I hear them in the room more than I hear them in the live stream mix.
Come on, there you go. Let's go. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I hear too much room mics maybe and not enough direct sound, which usually it's not that case. So that's one thing I would try to work on. These shots like this, it's odd because the room is so dark compared to them that I'm not sure how much it adds. At least here we've got a little more color in the background, so it's not completely, like this shot looks good. Your drummer's in the cave. I can't really see the drummer. I would say 4 lines is too much for lyrics, and I would add some type of box around them or something to make them pop off a little bit more. That's a good framing there. And then let's just look over here at the sermon. Looks like just one camera the whole time. If you could go to a tight cam follow, I would try to implement that. Okay. Okay. Creation. How do you deal with volunteer who don't share their personal information with you? You never showed up in rehearsal, but comes on Sunday to serve. Well, I think that it comes down to setting the expectations whenever you onboard volunteers. Making sure they understand your methods of communication, the expectations of rehearsal time, how much time each week is going to be required, when is call time, how we use Planning Center to communicate and schedule and block out things. So you can't inspect what you don't expect, right? You have to tell people ahead of time. And so maybe you should need to have a conversation with this person and say, hey, I just want to make sure that I'm communicating with you the best that we can and that we have clear paths of communications. And maybe I've never given you the expectations, but, you know, to be on part of the team, like, here's some of the things we expect. And so, like for us, just to be clear, our tech team doesn't come to our midweek rehearsal. If you are running sound, you are expected to listen to all the music beforehand and have an understanding of what each song should sound like. A lot of my video ops will come to first service, and then they'll run cameras for our live stream second service. So they've experienced worship and kind of understand the service flow. And our technical director is the one who's really in charge of casting the vision for the service, telling them in the live stream, you know, when things are going to happen, and directing camera ops that way. But yeah, just set the expectations out there. Our policy is if you're unable to be there for rehearsal, you don't serve on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, in theory, that's a great thing to have. You have to have exceptions to the rule, especially when it comes to volunteers serving on your teams. Life happens. I think it's whenever a pattern has been established that there's a lack of being a team player. And if this is a policy, stuff happens, you can't make it, emergencies, you know, that's okay. But yeah, so, I mean, every week there's times where vocalists, you know, oh, you know, my kid is sick, I can't make it, or had a job thing, or, you know, I've got my electric guitarist that is out of town. He works out of town during the week. So, I mean, he comes prepared every Sunday though. And he knows the expectation is if you can't make it to Wednesday rehearsal, if I change anything, I'll let you know, but like, you need to come prepped and ready. So in theory that works, but not always in practice. Elijah, what's up? Yeah, it's been a while. Glad to have you on, man. Have you guys liked this live stream yet? Have you subscribed to the channel so you can chat with us today? You should. You definitely should. We got another 8 minutes or so. Let's do one more live stream review if I can find another good one here. Let me pull these up. Hard to believe I've been going 2 hours. All right, here's one. Arise Church. Joel submitted. They've got FX30s, A7S2s, C100, old school. So they've got some good gear there. Let's look at their live stream and give them some thoughts. Oops.
On your faithfulness. Thank you, Jesus. I'm calling on the God of Mary, whose favor rests upon the lowly.
the wireless video being delayed, y'all, it's just bugging me nowadays. Everybody's bought these Hollyland units, which are fine for certain use cases. Like they're good, but I just don't like them when we're mixing them with other wired cameras. So like, watch her.
I may not face the light, but I've got my own giants.
It's like multiple frames delayed. And so if you're going to use wireless cams, like just keep it on a wide shot. And so the lip sync isn't as disturbing.
Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God.
So here the harmony is out in front of the lead vocal. And so if you're an audio engineer, understanding who's leading each song, even if they're taking turns leading, you're going to have to know that and fader ride things, because now he's got a great voice. The harmony sounds great, but it's not the melody that everybody's supposed to be latching onto.
I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages. I'm standing on your faithfulness. On your faithfulness.
Stereo spread of those guitars sounds really good.
Your faithfulness, oh God.
Got a good team.
Your faithfulness surrounds me.
This shot is a little odd to me that 3/4 of it is the audience. I'm not sure what's above your singers, if there's anything of interest up there, but I would probably bring this shot up a little bit to where your line of people's in the middle.
You heard your children.
Yeah, so now he's on
You
melody.
hear your children now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You answered prayers back then, and you will answer now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You were providing then. You are providing now. You are the same God. You are the same. Come on.
You guys hearing anything?
You move in power then. God move in power now. You are the same God. If you're believing for healing, lift your voice. You are a healer then. You are
Again, she's on melody now and he's on harmony.
a healer now.
And some of that I try to mitigate with mic technique, with just when I'm doing that, more flip-flopping. Sometimes I'll be on mic for, you know, when I'm leading, and then just come back to here. It doesn't change EQ of my voice too much with the capsules we're using. So I can do that and manage volume a little bit.
You are the same God. You are the same God. You are a savior then. You are a savior now. You are the
Let's go.
same God. You are the same God. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh,
So I don't know if you noticed, these are V drums, or electronic drums, and they sound better than a lot of the drum kits we've already heard on the live stream.
on your faithfulness. We praise your name. We praise your name. You're faithful, oh God. You're faithful, oh God.
If God has been good to you, give him a mighty shout. Give him the praise that he deserves. We thank you, Father, that you are on the throne and the devil's defeated. Lord, we thank you that you
I probably wouldn't leave up the copyright the whole song. That's just one thing I would say. Great job. Yeah, I think you guys are killing it. All right, guys. Any final questions for me before we wrap this thing up? Sounds pretty good. Yeah, Cameron, I agree. I was impressed. Well, I do want to, one last time, draw your attention to my new course, and that is available over at the link in the description. Next Level Live Streaming on a Budget. You guys can go check that out. It's on sale. I said $50 earlier. I can't do math, y'all. you'll get it for $60 because the coupon is really only for $15. So, you know, if you want to grab that, go do that today. This coupon is good until midnight, live stream 15. And man, just super excited for what God is doing at our church this year and getting to do the things that we're doing. Like, we've already had more baptisms this year than we did all of last year, and it just keeps growing year over year. And so, like, God is just doing great things, and I'm excited to be a part of it and to take you guys along for the journey as I just try to do great things for God's glory, using technology, using budget-friendly solutions to solve problems around here. And I'm curious, for those of you that are still on here, what is your favorite type of content that I put out? If you are a subscriber to the channel, are you a fan of like tech reviews? Is that why you subscribe to my channel? Let me just put a poll up real quick. Favorite type of content. Is it Sunday vlogs? Is that like your fave? Like when a Sunday vlog hits, you're like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to see Rylan act like a fool. Is it tech reviews? Or is it live streams? You know, these things that we're doing. Answering the poll that I just put up there. Because, you know, I always try to have a balanced approach to my channel. Obviously, I'm full-time here, but more and more companies are reaching out to me to review their products. And I'm like, listen, a lot of times I'm just like, you can send it to me if you want. I'll try to take a look at it. And if I think that my audience will like it and it'll actually be helpful and I'm going to use it, then I'll go ahead and make a video about it. I have a pile of things over there underneath my pew that just haven't made the cut, and that's unfortunate. But then there's other companies that want to send me things that I'm like, maybe this would be helpful, but I also don't just want to be the tech review guy. There's lots of people that can do that. So I want to give you my perspective from somebody at a church my size with my budget and our use case, and maybe it can help you guys. But like our Sunday vlogs, what you love because it just makes you feel like you're a part of, like you get it because you're in the trenches. I'm showing you what we're doing and you're like, yes, that's me too. Like that thing happened, or whatever I'm talking about that day is interesting. Because I haven't done as many of those this year. I think I've only done 4, and I was doing a lot more of those. To be honest, it's hard. It's hard to do those and make them like interesting and fun and creative, all while doing my Sunday morning worship leading job. And so, but if that's something you guys love, that I maybe do more of that. Should we live stream more? Obviously, I continue to do these free on YouTube, hopefully offering high value for you to come with these experts that have been joining us. Some people put those behind a paywall and make it like a YouTube membership thing, to where if you're a member, then you get to come to the live stream review. I don't really want to do that because I think that this offers value for everybody that watches in the future as well. One bonus that is out there this week only, if you buy the course, is that you do get a free live stream review from me. So like if you submitted your live stream review, or maybe you're just curious about that, but you don't want it displayed for all the world to see, you'll be able to fill out a private form that you'll be able to submit a live stream review. And I'll just give you some of my thoughts like I've been doing to these folks today. Just in a one-on-one fashion, not a Zoom call. I do offer Zoom consultations, but this will just be one way, me communicating back to you after you fill out that form. So let's look and see at the poll here. How do I open this up? Not in poll. So 18 of the 38 of you have voted. It looks like most of you are here for the tech reviews. So obviously you're on the live stream, so a handful of you voted live stream is why you're doing it. 16-17% are for the Sunday vlogs. And I think that pretty much lines up with like what the YouTube stats kind of show. So good to know that the tech reviews are helpful. I'll try to always be very transparent with you guys. I never want to lose trust with you as far as like when I post a tech review. Make sure and make it clear, like, is this a sponsored thing? Did I get this for free? Am I having to send it back? Those kinds of things, just because, like, I want to know that when I'm watching a review video. And there may be videos in the future where it's more of just a spotlight on my channel, to be able to support the time that I'm putting into the channel. I mean, YouTube AdSense and obviously live streams, I get nothing, no actual monetary value out of doing these. But I love getting to do them because I want to build this community with you guys. So I may have to do some of those if it makes sense for the channel. But one way you can always support me is just when you see a video, you watch it, you like it, share it with somebody. And if you want to check out the course, feel free to do that. So I appreciate you guys, and it's been a fun ride for the first half of the year, and excited for what this next half is going to entail. Got some great content in the works for you guys. All right, remember, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. I mean it. I say it all the time, but I mean it. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.